Welcome, welcome. Here we are in Adelaide, Kaurna country, stolen, never ceded, home of the Kaurna people, always was, always will be. Tonight we are here at Adelaide Oval because, very exciting, streams of people heading in for AFLW showdown between, hi Richard, between the Crows and Power. Fabulous women's teams competing in a showdown tonight. But why are we here? Extinction Rebellion South Australia is here because a major sponsor is Santos. And we are here to point out to these fabulous supporters of this wonderful game that Santos is a dirty fossil fuel company and to reject the money that they are bringing to the game. Let's have a look. Lots going on here. Don't know where to go first. Streaming across the footbridge, which comes in from the railway station and bus station centre of Adelaide, and through to Adelaide Oval for the game tonight. AFLW is sponsored by NAB and BHP, I believe, as well. Dump Santos. Don't let the climate criminals sponsor footy. Everybody here loves the footy. Nobody wants the climate crisis to get any worse. We want it to get better. It is not too late to change. Lots of excited people meeting up. Here we have some news crews and photographers and fossil fuels now. And another thing, lots of things that I'm going to be chatting about, but TDU, Tour Down Under, break away from gas. That's something else that's sponsored by Santos, and we'll have a chat later about all the implications. No more coal and gas. Plenty of us here are footy supporters, love the game, love the teams, overjoyed that we've now got a thriving women's football league, but we really, really, really do not want that tainted by fossil fuel sponsorship. Hi Trish, I'll have one of these and have a readout of what we're having a look at here today. So we're letting people know, love footy, worried about the climate crisis. Fossil fuels are the major contributor to global warming and they sponsor footy. Santos and BHP keep digging up fossil fuels and NAB lends them the money to do it. Ask your club. Anybody watching this? Ask your club. Not just footy club, any sports club, to dump dirty sponsors. AFL, oops, and there's something else I was going to have a chat about. AFL dump tobacco sponsors of sport. You wouldn't even dream of that now. Come on, AFL dump fossil fuels. And earlier this year, Tennis Australia dumped Santos as a major sponsor. They had just signed a multi-year contract with Santos, but despite that, in the first year, I believe it was, of the contract for this Australian Open earlier this year, Tennis Australia decided enough's enough, and even one game was enough. So if Tennis Australia, huge organisation, can do it, so can footy. Very lively down here tonight, great turnout, lots of families, masses of kids. Even more important, bringing your families to a game like this, sponsored by Santos. Just get the facts, get to know what's going on. Streaming in along the bridge. Do a little weather report. It's beautiful. Lots of chalking been going on. We've got lots of people out chatting to the crowd. seem to have a whole influx of crows, and this maybe a crow's bus has just arrived. A few Port supporters there. And chalking. Too hot for footy, climate change.
Get up the fossil fuels.
Our great chalking team's been out in force. Footy dumps Santos. Sun's going down, all heading in preparation for the big game. Reject NAB, Santos, BHP. NAB is a major enabler of fossil fuel mining companies, gas and oil, to providing the money for them to ply their dirty trade, digging up fossil fuels. So, oh, there you go, somebody's done some emojis. Love footy. A little bit poo emoji Santos there. Says it all in words. There we go. One little girl asking her dad, why does it say Santos? And he was explaining it to her. Fantastic. And fossil fuels.
I see you, Margaret. It's your colour. I don't. Okay. Right.
Let me have a look. Now, some things I'm going to have a chat about, if I can find some notes I made earlier. Some interesting things. According to ASIC, term greenwashing. Greenwashing is becoming a lot more openly talked about and heard and understood these days, but still some people are surprised by the term, and they think companies like Santos are being fantastic at giving money away to support local clubs and sporting clubs and children's sporting clubs and so on. But they actually have, from years back, an agreement with the South Australian government that they have to provide a very large community funding in return for some deals done about how they can manage their board and shares and so on. And according to ASIC, greenwashing is the practice of misrepresenting to the extent to which a financial product or investment strategy is environmental friendly, sustainable and ethical. This is all weasel words, really. So we think these companies are doing fantastic things. They're green companies, they've got a good heart, they love their community sports and so on. But really it is just to give themselves a good name and good standing in the community. But tonight we're seeing sports washing. So what's that? That's another term which is becoming prevalent. Sports washing, how mining and energy companies sponsor your favourite sports to help clean up their image. We've got rid of tobacco sponsors. You couldn't even imagine that nowadays, having something like Marlborough or Benson & Hedges sponsoring sports, which they used to. So yeah, we got rid of the tobacco sponsors, not without a fight. The companies, tobacco companies, still maintained that they were doing the right thing, but they lost in the end. Tennis Australia, as I mentioned earlier this year, dumped Santos as a sponsor of the Australian Open, despite having signed a multi-year contract with them. Another bunch of sports washing, Tour Down Under. What could be the epitome, it's absolutely the epitome of, should be, of an international green sport. It is still sponsored by Santos in a major global greenwashing and sports washing way. Polluting industries are pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into sports sponsorship globally in an attempt to sports wash their role in the climate crisis. So, you know, have a look behind the headlines. Don't always believe everything that you read from fossil fuel companies, and even from, you know, anybody, even legitimate green companies. Make sure you do your research and find out more, find out what's really going on. So I think, as is becoming a little bit more aware, fossil fuels and carbon-intensive industries have an image problem. As awareness of their environmental impact grows, energy and mining companies in particular are desperate to maintain control over downward spiralling levels of public esteem. For decades, greenwashing has been the go-to tactic for companies seeking to mask their damaging effects on natural environments, and governments across the world have begun to legislate against it. So, Extinction Rebellion is asking for governments and companies to tell the truth. No more climate lies. Santos is a South Australian company. We have our headquarters here. Reject Santos money. At the moment, Santos is having a big push about their decarbonisation and their green credentials. And in particular, they're trying to push carbon capture and storage, saying that that is the answer. They can dig up as much oil and burn fossil fuels and all the rest of it as much as they like, because they are going to invest heavily in carbon capture and storage. This is utter ridiculousness, because nowhere is a report or any evidence to say that it actually works. Santos are willing to pay large amounts of money to build big sites in South Australia, so very appealing, creating industry, but it just does not work. It is more greenwashing garbage that carbon capture and storage is a solution to help them apparently reach net zero, and their productions is rubbish. So the answer really is to end fossil fuels and end them now. Let's have a just transition away from fossil fuels, fossil fuel companies. Still loads, thousands of people streaming in. Imagine it's going to be an exciting game. Let's hope it's a close game. Always the most exciting. Let's go and see if I can get somebody else to have a chat. Got a few camera crews at the back there too. TV, news. Hi guys, I'm coming to the usual suspects, see if anybody wants to have a little chat about why you are here. Once again, holding a banner, end fossil fuels now.
That's it.
So,
Hey, you wanna have a
We
chat?
love footy, and we're worried that it's going to get too hot for the footy, especially for the women's footy, if we keep having global warming. Or it might just get too wet, who knows. If they're trying to play in Sydney and they're in a swimming pool because they've gone underwater.
well, it has been pretty dire on the east coast with the flooding.
It has been pretty, that's right.
Yeah.
And also, we just think that it's time to get rid of the fossil fuel companies as sponsor. I mean, they got rid of tobacco companies, which was pretty awful for people's lungs and for the atmosphere, but it's got nothing on Santos and BHP and the fossil fuel companies, which are not just destroying people's lungs but actually destroying the earth. So we need to get rid of them. Absolutely, get rid of Santos, BHP.
Thank you. And that was a Crow supporter. We've got it in the interest of balance. We're going to a bit of power here. Have to get back a bit so I can see Ian.
Oh well. Hi, how you going?
Always upholding a banner.
I've been following footy since I was a kid. So in the 1960s I started going to games. Went to a grand final in 1967. Love footy. And I hate the fact that fossil fuels have started creeping into sponsoring footy teams. It's terrible. So we got rid of tobacco sponsors, and now it's time to get rid of fossil fuel companies. Now, just maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago, Nicole Livingston came down here. She's the chair of AFW, I believe. I think it's the chair or CEO maybe. Came down here and videoed this, and the message to Nicole is, it's time you drop fossil fuels from AFLW. Thanks, Nicole. Like, we care for footy and we care for the planet, so you can send a really great message if you did that. Thank you, Nicole.
Excellent, thank you. Well, can't get closer to the top than that. I'm just being distracted by this gorgeous evening tonight. Up for a few words? That's fine. And still they're pouring in. Let's see if I can grab someone else for a few words. Here's somebody who's always up for a little bit of a yarn. Like to have a little bit of a yarn.
How you going?
I'm going really well. You've got your
Lovely night tonight, isn't it?
it's absolutely gorgeous tonight. I'm just trying to get you so you're not. There's a bright light behind you, so I'll go this way. There you go.
How are you?
I'm good, Kathy. How are you going?
Oh, it's pretty good. It's such a lovely night tonight, and everybody's in such a good mood, walking along, looking forward to the match. But it's a bit tragic, isn't it, that, you know, Santos, who gets so much government subsidy, they're putting, what's a pittance? They had a 300% profit increase this year, you know, and now they are still planning to get their gas out of the Barossa Basin, pipe it to Asia, and, you know, not reserve any for Australia anyway, and they're claiming that gas is a clean fuel. And of course we know it's not. They're claiming that they can use carbon capture and storage, which is a failed technology, to suck the carbon out. But of course that only works when they're mining it, when they're pumping it out of the ground. When it's out, it's out. You sell it to customers, they burn it as a fuel, and the fuel emits what? Carbon dioxide and methane, greenhouse gases, and there's no way of sucking that out of that air once it's in. So basically they're lying. Santos is lying about the cleanliness of gas. And here we are in the state that is what? The world leader in, guess what? Renewable energy. Hooray! We're fabulous. By luck and good management. We've got enough renewable energy to sell it to Victoria. And we do. Almost every day we sell some to Victoria, and we'll soon be selling the surplus to New South Wales. And so why do we need gas? We don't. They're just making as much profit as they can in a dying industry and not telling their shareholders that they've got a stranded asset. It's totally tragic.
It is indeed. Thanks, Kathy. And I think some very good points there about the gas is being shipped overseas, so it's not really for our energy needs at all. It is for money. And then you've got to think, well, where does the money go? Who gets the money? We don't get it. We don't get the tax dollars. And yes, we have Santos sponsoring sports and teams and community events, but that is legislated. They have to. They're not doing it all out of the goodness of their heart. It is a deal that's been done with the South Australian government some years ago. So, yeah, it's not that great. Oh, something's 50-50. Don't think that's the game. Great shot over there. End fossil fuel companies. It's still got more people coming in. I'll probably wind up soon. Should also mention that we have a very exciting event coming up soon, which also involves Santos. I don't think I've got a leaflet on me. Let me see. Trish, do you have a blockade leaflet on you? A blockade leaflet to hand? Yes, because I should know it all off by heart, but I was just going to do a little bit of a promotion for coming up in October as part of the Extinction Rebellion's End Fossil Fuels Now campaign. we are planning a number of events. This is one of them, nice little event, but coming up, let's see, blockade fossil fuels. Now, as I said, there is a conference coming up in October, 17th and 19th of October at Adelaide Convention Centre, which is just, oh, those bright lights over there at the end of the footbridge. And the conference is the Asia Pacific Oil and Gas Conference. It's a conference about how to be more efficient digging oil and coal gas out of the ground. Major sponsor Santos, headline speakers Santos. It's pretty much engineering focus. There's also a focus on education and telling high school science students that fossil fuel mining engineering is a great way to go for a career. I mean, how can you even say that? It's a dead industry. No matter how much tweaking they do, no matter how much they try and capture carbon and so on, it's just dead industry. Coal mines are shutting down, gas-fired coal stations closing down. So, if you are available and want to find out more, come along to the blockade, which is at the Convention Centre, the Oil and Gas Conference, Asia Pacific Oil and Gas Conference, October 17th to 19th. We're out of time. The earth is already too hot. Fossil fuels are fueling this disaster. They must be stopped. Non-violent resistance is our best chance to avoid collapse. Civil disobedience. To find out more, www.xrsa.earth. And would that work? We have a lovely, lovely QR code to find out more as well. So, still they're crowding in. Still they're streaming across the footbridge. And lots of people having conversations with our friendly Ask Me peoples to explain why we're here. We're here to say, love your footy, dumped, dirty fossil fuel sponsors. I think somebody there is trying to explain to one of our lovely contact people that we don't have enough renewable energies. And I think that's the whole point of what we're saying. Instead of wasting all your money, all the government money on subsidies for fossil fuels, put it into developing more renewable energies. Ooh, loads of people coming in. The South Gate. Anyway, we'll have one last round. Probably start winding up. And there we go. In the comments, we have got all the information about the oil and gas comments. So that is there in our live stream comments. Thank you for putting that up, Extinction Rebellion SA. There is also a group of AFL players for climate change. So plenty of the footy players are on board with the cause. It's a crazy sort of saying the cause, because really we're all in this. It's not some freak fringe thing. Climate change is real. It's happening. Look at the East Coast. Disastrous weather, rains, floods, horrendous. Love your footy. Dump dirty fossil fuel. So, may get too hot for footy because of climate change. It's actually a possibility. People getting enthusiastic about the game, which is great. Don't let climate criminals sponsor sport. Hi, Erica. Thanks for watching, all of those that are tuned in live at the moment. I know we get a lot more watches of these videos once they're up online and people can look at their leisure. It's amazing. Absolutely, it's a great atmosphere down here. It's a fantastic number of people coming in to watch Port Adelaide and Adelaide Crows fight in a showdown. Women's football, fantastic. Love your footy. Dump Santos. Still coming in, screaming in. So, as I mentioned before, this is all about sports washing, which is a particular type of greenwashing when fossil fuel companies are trying to raise their credibility in a dying industry, with increasingly the populace realising that fossil fuel companies are the reason the climate is in crisis. Massive government subsidies, very little taxation, destroying the planet. Hi Sarah, welcome. Gosh, I think it must absolutely be a sellout crowd tonight. And ASIC at the moment has got their eye on companies that are claiming they have legitimate green credentials, when really it's just a whole lot of greenwashing. So not everybody's being fooled, which is good. So importantly, don't forget, and the information's in the chats of part of this video, blockade will be happening at the Asia Pacific Oil and Gas Conference. Oops, the light's not so good. October 17th to 19th. Sorry, that was a bit blurry. Oh, Channel 9's about to go live. And fantastic. Ooh, sorry. So, Channel 9 reporting on the historic event of the first showdown, women's AFL. Well, great flags and banners going in. And we have our flags and banners out here. Extinction Rebellion South Australia on stolen Kaurna land. Acknowledge the custodians of the land, the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains. So it's still pouring in, but it's thinning out. So we're winding up in a minute. Footy showdown, Adelaide Crows against Port Power here at the Adelaide Oval, women's footy showdown. Historic match about to happen. Huge crowd coming in, and we're just letting them know that a major sponsor of the team is Santos, dirty fossil fuel company engaging in greenwashing to raise their own profile. Look now. Oh. So have a look at the upcoming event, blockade of the Asia Pacific Gas and Oil Conference at Adelaide Convention Centre, which is just over the river from here. Literally, can't do it. Just there. That's the convention centre. Wow, these queues crowds are endless. It's fantastic turnout. So, I'll wind up now. Extinction Rebellion, South Australia, at Adelaide Oval for Adelaide Crows, Port Power, showdown. Please, please, please dump Santos as your sponsor. Dump NAB, dump BHP. They are all conspiring to ruin the planet. There is no footy on a dead planet. Thanks for watching. Find out about the blockade. It's in the chats. Lots of happy people going for the game. Signing off.